When a lonely 52-year-old woman texted the wrong number, the reply sent shivers down her spine. But before we start, please give the video a like and make sure to subscribe to WonderBot and hit the bell so you'll never miss any uploads from us. In June 2012, Kasey Bergh was looking for a bit of company in Denver, Colorado, so she texted some work friends. But unbeknown to her, the 52-year-old had also inadvertently sent the message to a wrong number. And when she received an unlikely response from the person at the other end, it deeply affected her. In the past, if you ever wanted to connect with someone, you only had a couple of options to choose from. Indeed, you could either call them up on the telephone, whether landline or a cell, or, God forbid, even write the person a letter. But today there are countless ways in which you can talk to friends and family. Yes, thanks to modern technology, instant messaging has become one of the go-to options if you need to contact somebody. For instance, WhatsApp is an incredibly useful tool, as is Facebook Messenger. What's more, there are plenty of other options. Yet despite all these, some people prefer to stick with a tried and tested text message. Now, Bergh can certainly attest to that, as she tapped out her text back in 2012. But not even she could have predicted what happened next when a stranger responded to the message. Astonishingly, after that exchange, her life would go on to take a truly unexpected turn. And it all started from an innocent mistake. At some point, we'll all be on the receiving end of a wrong number, whether a phone call or a text. In most of those cases, we inform the person that they've made a mistake and end the conversation there. However, as we're about to discover, not everyone does that. Indeed, some people decide to go down a different route, and it can have eye-catching results. In fact, a number of those exchanges have even gone viral, with the recipient sharing the messages online. For example, in one case, a woman received a text from an unnamed medical facility. Weirder still, it appeared to be from a surgeon who was in the operating theater. "Hey Dr. Park," read the opening text message. "This is Matt from the vascular lab. I am an outpatient here with an external iliac occlusion, artery vessel blockage, with cold foot pain and numbness that started 3 days ago. What should I do with her?" From there, the surprised woman offered a suggestion of her own in response. "Hi, this is Hannah," the lady replied. "I think you have the wrong number, but I Googled it and I'm pretty sure you need to put a stent on her left radial artery. Best of luck, Matt." As if things couldn't get any stranger, Matt then sent another message back, providing an update on the patient's condition. Indeed, the medical professional wrote, "Sorry, wrong number, Hannah." She ended up actually getting a stent. It took about 3 hours longer for trained medical professionals to figure out what took you 3 minutes. Great job. At that stage, Hannah jokingly asked if the hospital was interested in recruiting her. But unsurprisingly, perhaps, that's where the exchange ended. Meanwhile, another wrong number story hit the headlines as a man named Dennis Williams was caught up in a group message. Now the other recipients were celebrating the birth of a baby, with Williams quickly making it clear that he shouldn't be included. Yet a short time later, he made a stunning decision. As the messages continued to come in, Williams revealed that he'd visit the newborn's family at the hospital. At first glance, you might think he was joking, but that wasn't the case at all. Alongside his brother Darius, the stranger dropped in on the baby's parents before posting a photo. And touchingly, their gesture of goodwill didn't end there. No, because following the meeting, one member of the group chat shared what happened on Facebook. They wrote, "I accidentally texted a message about Mark and Lindsay having a baby to a number I had in my phone for someone else. The number now belongs to Mr. Dennis Williams, and he and his brother came by to visit us and brought the baby a gift." The user added, "What a blessing these two guys were to our family. They were so sweet and kind to do this. You two are great guys, and I thank you for giving to someone you didn't know. Many blessings, I pray for you. Kasey Knox, Lindsay, and Mark Lashley thanks you." So while those two examples took incredible turns, another case startled all those involved back in 2012. As previously mentioned, Kasey Bergh sent a message to a wrong number when she was on a work trip in Denver, and little did she know that the subsequent response would have a huge impact on her life. A resident of St. Louis, Missouri, Bergh is the mother of 2 adult stepchildren, and in June 2012 she was working as a businesswoman, which led to her trip to Colorado. At that time, the 52-year-old had been single for around 6 years after splitting up with her former husband. Over the course of the business outing, Bergh had a bit of time to herself, so she looked to make some plans. To begin with, the stepmom was going to hang out with a work friend from home, Maria, also on the trip. But Maria hadn't left for Colorado yet, and her plane was delayed in St. Louis. Despite that disappointment, she sent a generic message to multiple recipients on the trip, hoping to meet up. Bergh's text message said, "Hey, it's Kasey. I was supposed to connect with Maria at the park, but her plane was delayed. So I'm at the Westin, wanted to see if I could connect with anyone else." However, unbeknownst to her, those words inadvertently reached a stranger back in her home state. Yes, and the unsuspecting recipient was Henley Glendering, who also lived in St. Louis. He was 22 years old at the time, and his life wasn't in the best of places. In terms of work, Glendering was stuck in an unsatisfactory position, mirroring his romantic exploits as well. On that note, let's press on. Now you see, while Glendering did have a girlfriend at that point, he wasn't happy with the relationship. So when Bergh's message popped up on his phone, it quickly gained his attention. And much like the previously mentioned cases, the St. Louis resident didn't just reply to say she had the wrong number. Indeed, in response to Bergh's text, Glendering wrote, "Sorry, you've got the wrong number, but if I wasn't heading to work, I'd be down to hang. Anywho, I hope you can find a friend to hang with. Have a good one." At that stage, the businesswoman felt compelled to reply with another message, kicking off a lengthy conversation. For Bergh explained that she thought the number had belonged to one of her colleagues who she hadn't texted in some time. From there, the 52-year-old signed off by writing, "Assuming you're in St. Louis, stay cool." Incredibly though, that didn't signal the end of their exchange, as we're about to discover. To keep the conversation going, Glendering decided to reveal his upcoming plans. The 22-year-old said, "Interesting, I'll be stopping off in Denver on a trip I'm taking in about a week. I'm going on a walkabout in Nevada, and I'm going to stop off either in Denver or Glenwood Springs for a night." So after that, Glendering and Bergh exchanged more messages, and they got to know each other through their texts. Touchingly, the pair spoke about a variety of subjects, ranging from films to books. But when Glendering brought up a particular book title, Bergh instantly realized how deep their connection really was. Speaking to KSDK-TV in April 2019, Bergh reflected on that pivotal moment. She said, "Henry texted me back and said, 'Do you know what you think about the law of attraction, or have you ever read The Secret by Rhonda Byrne? Because whatever you put your energy on is going to be what comes back to you.'" And Bergh continued, "I thought, oh my God, okay, that's how I live my life." So we just kept texting and texted and emailed for a week, just on like our shared interest of spirituality and the law of attraction and energy. It was great. Given their connection, the duo made plans to meet face-to-face a short time later. Prior to the meeting, though, Glendering did raise the question about Bergh's age, to which she said, "I'm 25 in my heart." Once they got together at a local coffee house, she then revealed the 30-year age gap between them. However, that didn't seem to bother her potential suitor in the slightest. Following the meeting at the cafe, Glendering was set to join Bergh at a concert with another person. Yet his friend pulled out in the end, meaning the pair were alone together once more. And as Third-Eyed Blind played on the stage, the 22-year-old felt drawn toward his new companion. When looking back on that night, Bergh touched upon one moment in particular. Halfway through the concert, Glendering was standing behind me and put his hands on my hips, she told KSDK-TV, and I could have been the woman that said, "Hey bucko, you don't put your hands on me," but I was just like, "Oh, well, this is interesting." Now, a couple of months on from that, Bergh and Glendering took their budding relationship to the next level. Yes, they moved in together, and according to the latter, his parents didn't have a problem with that. In fact, they managed to look past the couple's age difference right away. To add to that, Bergh's family were much the same way. "My parents were accepting from the start," Glendering told Daily Mail Online in September 2015. "We were happy, healthy, and they've always known me to be my own person, even if it is in a non-traditional way. I'm sure my parents recognize a vast age difference between us, but I don't think I've ever told them how old she is." Unfortunately for Glendering and Bergh, though, the subject did crop up a number of times while they were out and about. And one of the more common misconceptions was that he was his girlfriend's son. But regardless of those awkward exchanges, their romantic relationship continued to blossom as time went on. Speaking to Daily Mail Online, Bergh said, "We've eaten at fabulous restaurants, gone backstage at concerts, met tons of interesting people, traveled to great places. I think through all that, Glendering has become so refined in his attire, appreciation for wine and craft beer." Yet her thoughts didn't end there. As Bergh continued to explain, Glendering has also figured out more about his gifts and strengths, which has led to terrific growth in his career. "I've learned more about me as well, and he's taught me so much about art and music and movies. So with that in mind, Glendinning made a life-changing decision in June 2014. That's correct. Around 2 years on from that fateful text exchange in 2012, Glendinning asked Bergh to marry him. Then, some 12 months later, the lovebirds tied the knot in a rather unique ceremony. Instead of holding the wedding at a church, they chose to get married next to a graffiti-clad wall in St. Louis. In keeping with the unusual location, Glendinning was dressed in a colorful patterned shirt and a pair of jeans. As for his bride, Bergh sported a pink and white dress, which she'd picked up from a shopping center. And the happy couple exchanged their vows in front of a small gathering of friends and family, bathed in sunlight. In terms of the public reaction to Bergh and Glendinning's relationship, it's been fairly mixed. For instance, in the comments section of Daily Mail Online, a number of users had differing opinions. One person wrote, "In 15 years' time, he'll be 41 and she'll be 70. Come on, dude, think this over." However, those thoughts weren't shared by everyone. For another online user wrote, "What a great story. It's been 4 years and they seem to really be compatible. Good for them for going for it. There's nothing wrong with a big age difference. Some young people are more mature than older folks and vice versa." Meanwhile, Bergh and Glendinning kept people posted on their relationship via a couple different platforms in the next few years. And the pair even run a blog called When Henry Met Kasey. But that's not all. Also, they have a Facebook page that boasts more than 1,900 likes and just under 2,000 followers. But as we all know, relationships are about accepting the bad times, as well as the good. And the unlikely couple have taken that in their stride too, it seems. For you see, they hit the headlines again in April 2019 when Bergh required a kidney transplant. And it was a procedure that she was already quite familiar with, having had her first transplant in 1995. In this instance, though, Glendinning stepped up and donated his organ, with the surgery proving to be a success. Opening up again, Bergh had one last thing to say about their marriage. She told KSDK-TV, "I don't necessarily want people to look at it as a fairy tale. They might meet somebody in a random way. He might be 30 years younger than them and they might go, 'Oh, this is hard.' We're a work in progress, and we worked and worked.